Before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that starting on July 10th and continuing throughout the summer, I am going to be hosting a series of pod chats in my Facebook group. I'm going to be talking to podcast hosts about their podcast journey, why they started, why they continue, the troubles and tribulations along the way, the brilliant ahas that they've had, guests, all of the good stuff. We're going to be talking about it all in my Facebook group, Start a Podcast UK. Come over and join the group at facebook.com/groups/Start a Podcast UK. Come and join the conversation. I hope to see you there. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I'm excited to have you here for this mini Mindset Monday episode. Now, usually this would be a me and Viv conversation, but occasionally it's nice for me to be able to come in and just have a quick catch up with you guys. So today is just me. Viv will be back in a couple of weeks, and I will be back on Thursday with an episode about generating high quality leads with your podcast. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. I will also touch on how you can do it if you don't have a podcast. So if you haven't got a podcast yet, it'll still be of use to you. So come and join me on Thursday for that one. But today is going to be a really quick update for you, and I just thought it was a good chance break in my schedule of podcast recordings to be able to pop in and have a conversation with you, because a couple of weeks ago I put out an episode on my mental health and where I am currently, because I wanted people to understand that it's not all rainbows and sunshines for everybody all the time, even though we often get that view on social media. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on is the fact that even though we try and be real and authentic on social media because we want to attract our right clients, we don't want to put down on social media, I'm having a really bad day and, I'm miserable, and put all the doom and gloom out there on social media, on our business accounts of all things, to our potential clients, because people don't need the extra negativity in their life. And it's really something that I try and avoid sharing on a regular basis in the moment as it's happening. So the episode that you listened to a couple of weeks ago was actually recorded at the beginning of June, I believe. So it was a while back in terms of my mental health, where I was, and I was kind of on the up side of it when I recorded that episode. So it wasn't like me right in the moment having a full-blown meltdown. It was me talking about where I had been, what I was currently doing, and where I was planning to go with it. And I think that is a much healthier thing to share, because although I was still very much sort of in it, as it were, it wasn't like the worst it had been. So I had a lot of people reach out to me in the DMs, send me messages, and thank you to everybody who did that. It wasn't kind of for that purpose. It was just because I know that other people go through these things, and there are other people out there that have the mental health struggles. And sometimes it can feel really lonely, and it can really feel like everybody else has got it together when you see what people are putting out on social. And I wanted to show you that actually there are indicators on my social when I'm not so in the best of moods, shall we say, because I tend not to post as much. So my consistency drops off when my mental health is suffering. So there are subtle hints that you will see that something is not all shiny and rosy, but you're not necessarily going to pick up on that as an outside viewer, because everybody's got their own lives and people aren't paying attention to how much you're posting and things like that. So it might not be an obvious thing for people. And I do try not to sort of talk about it on social media, as it were. I try and keep my posts on topic, and if I do a personal post, it's usually about, you know, where I am at the moment and what I'm doing, rather than diving into mental health. And I feel like this podcast is a safer space to have those conversations, because people can get very mean online. Not that I think anybody would necessarily get mean with me, but it's just a safer environment for me to share, because I feel like we have a closer relationship here on the podcast. So I wanted to let you know that, you know, so far everything seems to be going well with the hormone therapy that I'm doing. Situations have changed, and I will touch on that probably in a few episodes' time. I'm going to give you an update when I do my quarterly review. So at the end of September, I will let you know what's going on in my world. Lots of changes kind of coming in the next month, so I will update you on that. But for now, we're okay. We have an appointment to sort of do a follow-up about the hormone therapy and see if we need anything else. But things are sort of a little bit more rosier, a little bit more sunny in the garden right now, in terms of things that are going on around me. So obviously that, plus the hormone therapy, has lifted my mood so much so that I don't know that I'm going to need further medical help. I still want to look into therapy. There are still things that I want to do in regards to therapy, that I think there are unresolved issues that I need to focus on. So that's a separate thing, which I'm still going to look at, but I'm hoping that medically there isn't a need to intervene anymore. But again, it's something that I have to monitor and I have to be mindful of. So I'm just going to be monitoring for the next little while and address it with the nurse when I do my follow-up appointment. So I wanted to let you all know that I'm okay, and I have been okay for the last sort of month or so. It's been much better for me, and to thank you for reaching out to me, for those of you who did, and for those of you who are struggling yourselves. You know, if you feel the need to reach out to somebody, then do it. And just simple things like going out. Like this morning, me and my other half went for a walk into a nearby village, and it was a 40-minute walk there, 40-minute walk back, and it was in the sunshine in the morning, so it was quiet. There wasn't a lot of people about, and it was just really nice, gentle walk that we did, and it just really lifted my spirit to be sort of connecting with him and doing that walk, and for it to be a little bit quieter that early in the morning. So just things like that. Grab a friend, you know, go for a walk, or grab a friend and go for a drink, or grab your other half, you know, whoever it is, somebody who you can talk to, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to tell them everything that you're going through and how you're feeling and things. Just the element of going out with them and having a good time can be enough to lift your spirit for a while. So definitely recommend that. So I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to give you a quick update because I know that some people were concerned. So I want you guys to know that I'm okay, I'm doing well, but it's an ongoing process, and I think it's potentially something that is always going to be an ongoing process for me, and I'm going to have these low periods and whatnot. And I appreciate your receptiveness to accepting me sharing that with you, because oftentimes people don't share, and that can be sort of really dangerous. And it also, you know, when we share, you know, that whole thing, a problem shared is a problem halved. Not necessarily. I don't necessarily believe in that, but I certainly believe that if you share that you have a problem, then somebody who also has that problem feels a little bit less alone. So that is my aim with sharing my mental health story and journey. So that is it for today. Come back on Thursday when we're going to be talking about those converting high ticket clients through podcasting. And if you are not in the Facebook group, come and join me. It's Start a Podcast UK. I will leave a link in the show notes. It's always there in the show notes. If you go down there, it says join the Facebook group. You can go and join the Facebook group. We're having conversations in there with podcast owners about their podcast and their podcast journey. We're giving a bit of behind the scenes, why they do it, the struggles that they've had, the things that they love, the things that they hate. We're getting into all the juiciness. And this week I have Debbie Gilbert coming in. And if you've been on this podcast a long time, Debbie came on the podcast a while back talking about awards. She is also the founder founder of Business Women Unlimited, which is I do the online meeting. I host the online meeting for her, and there are in-person meetings in the Hertfordshire area, one in Whitstable, and she also has a podcast called The Business Awards Show. So she's going to be coming in to talk about that. Last week I had Sandra Garlick, who is an MBE, come and talk about her podcast Woman Who Chat, and she's also launching a second podcast soon, which is exciting. And then I have some other people coming in throughout the rest of August into September, where Catherine and Julie are going to come and join me for a chat in the group. So make sure you're in the group. Come back on Thursday for Thursday's full episode, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.